Perfect.
All right, everybody, what's going on? And welcome to today's edition of SWAC Talk. Of course, this is a show we cover the SWAC inside and out, and I'm tour guide around the SWAC Seawells coming at you. And we just gonna talk a little bit about the transfer portal, man. This is gonna be more kind of just putting my thoughts on video, so it's gonna probably be, stream of consciousness type of thing, kind of all over the place, not really anything formulated, but I wanted to just kind of give my thoughts on some of the things that's going on with the portal. There's been a lot of people, and I kind of feel similar, that feel like that the FCS itself is like a jumping point for guys to go to FBS, but most definitely the HBCU realm. A lot of people feel like that this is almost becoming like a JUCO, where guys come to FBS, FCS, HBCU for a year or two, and then they chase their FBS dreams. So we're gonna talk about this a little bit. Like I said again, like I always like to say, I ain't gonna take up too much of your time. So I'm just gonna kind of get in and get out as best as I can, because I'm long-winded, y'all. But check out those socials. They're on the screen. Facebook is SWAC Talk, Instagram SWAC Talk, Twitter SWAC Talk 76. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Like the video, share them, and hit that notification bell to be alerted to any videos that I upload. And like I said, hit that subscription button, man. If you have, thank you. And let other people know to subscribe, man. Let's continue to grow this thing, and let's make our march to 1K. So thank you for tuning in. And on to the topic at hand now. I try to kind of like chase some numbers and things, because that's just, I'm a numbers nut. So I always try to find some things, that happen. But right now, this is a hot topic, man. The transfer portal is a hot topic, and honestly, in every sport you can say. Basketball is like the Wild Wild West for sure. Football, is pretty bad, but basketball has really been the sport that really just that has taken off with it. But we're not going to talk about basketball. This is a football thing, so we're going to really focus on football. And like I said, when I think about the portal, man, I think that it's got its good points and its bad points. It's got it gives people an opportunity to find a destination. If they don't already have one in mind, you can hit the portal and already know where you're going, because like there's a lot of back channel movement going on nowadays. So you kind of you may already know where you're going, and so you enter the portal to make it official, and then you go on about your merry way. But there's guys, in this case, there's guys who don't know where they're going. They have no idea where they're going, and they end up in the portal, and they kind of just floating around there. So those are the kind of guys that I always feel like I kind of wish better for them. But like I always say, man, if you don't have any film, then unless you already been recruited by somebody and they still really want you, then your best bet is to probably stay where you at least for some time, to give yourself an opportunity to make some things happen. Let's start off with a few numbers. And right now, since August 1st, there's over 2,700 players in the transfer portal. That's basically in Division I football. So there's 2,700 kids. That's only D1 football. FCS is 1,058 kids. So you're looking at a high number of kids. Almost getting close to half of that number is FCS, only FCS. 874 kids are Power 5 and 768 are G5. So that gives the FBS a total of 1,642. So it's almost 650 more, almost 600 more kids from FBS to FCS. But it's one of those things that you look at it, man, and like I said, you can find a destination. Some people just transferred inside conference. They stay FCS. Right now, there's more than 200 FCS transfers that went from FCS to FCS. So that's something that you see a lot of. And that's where the bulk of your transfers are. Your bulk of your transfers are FCS to FCS. I think they said that it was 190 FCS players that transferred to FBS in the 2022 season. So that's kind of 50. It's kind of what I guess when you look at it that way. The thing is, a lot of these guys that transferred to FBS teams and they don't really get that much playing time. You're going somewhere, and you have to compete again. You have to compete with more guys. And even if the talent level isn't great at the place you're going, you still competing with more guys. So I feel like if you're gonna take that FCS to FBS jump, then you need to really be certain that you're gonna get that time. I don't see the purpose of leaving somewhere where you're playing to go somewhere to sit on the bench. But that's just a personal thing. There's 23 guys that I counted from the 2023 portal that went from the SWAC to FBS. So the bulk of those guys are obviously Jackson State guys that went to Colorado. So this year is kind of an anomaly because you have so many guys that went to Colorado from Jackson State. That number is not going to be as high every year. So this is kind of an outlier year for the SWAC in that realm. But I do feel like there's a lot of people, fans of FBS teams, especially Power 5 teams, that look at the FCS as a feeder system. You can go on any message board, and when they start talking about players, they already start talking about the portal. They start talking about who they want, whether this kid is in the portal or not, whether there's even smoke of them going into the portal or not. There's always going to be discussion of picking up these guys because they're looking at a guy who played somewhere, was an all-conference guy, put up great numbers. He can do great wonders at my school. We need to get him. So it makes it almost like a minor league system. Like you're down here, putting in work, you're doing your job, you're putting your numbers up, and other schools above other schools on a higher level are looking down and watching you. And obviously there's back channel communication. We all know that. A lot of the coaches, handlers or whoever, they do reach out and touch bases, and they try to make it happen. But that same situation where people look at players and they want them on their team is also an FCS thing. There's kids that play in the SWAC that other SWAC fans want as a member of their team. And sometimes they go as far as people reaching out to the family and trying to get the kid to transfer somewhere else. I personally feel like if you're playing in one place and you're starting and you're putting up good numbers and you're making a name for yourself, there's no real reason to leave unless something happened that made you have to leave. Not just leave just because you just want to leave. A lot of times the perception is guys leave because they don't want competition, but I feel like that's false because if you're going from a team, and we're just going to stay on that FCS to FBS move, if you're going from a team with 63 scholarships to a team with 85, whatever position you play is going to have numbers. Now, the talent may not be super great depending on where you're going, but the numbers are bigger. So you're still going to have to compete against guys. And, if you're great, then you're going to stand out. But if you're not, then you're gonna blend in. And your margin of error is small. I don't necessarily mind a guy that's a grad transfer doing that, because I feel like you put in your time. You did your time. You got your degree, and then you want to spend your last year or two now with that COVID year. You want to spend your last playing time, seeing if you can make it at that level. To me, that's fine. I think, sometimes I think it's good to test your worth. I take a kid like Isaiah Hamilton. I was surprised when he went into the portal, especially that early in his career. Obviously a solid player, really, really great player. That's one of my favorite guys. That was one of my favorite guys at Texas Southern. Dude was a walking pick six. I would have loved to see him maybe put in another year and help that program, reach a level that they haven't been to in a long time. But I don't know what his situation is. And that's why, that's the only thing that makes me feel like, okay, I'm not going to ever knock anybody for hitting the portal, because I don't know what their situation is. I don't know what makes them, feel like they need to go somewhere else. Now, he went to Houston, which is now a Power 5 team. So that's, to me, that's a good step. Now you've shown that you can, for 2 years, you've shown that you can play really, really well at the SWAC level. Now you can take that step and show that your talent is legit. Or you look at a guy like Tank Dell, man, that his name is ringing bells all over the draft boards. He was at Alabama A&M in 2018 as a freshman. He left, went to Houston, and now he's a draft prospect. I always look at a guy like that and wonder if he would have still been able to make those strides where he was, because obviously the talent was there and he was playing a lot. I think he got hurt at A&M. Anybody that could correct me if I'm mistaken on that. I want to say he got injured at A&M his freshman year, but a guy like that, I feel like I don't really like to see those guys leave. But at the same time, like I said, I respect that decision. Like they always put in their notes, respect my decision. I respect everybody's decision to leave. Like I said, my biggest gripe for anybody that's leaving is a guy that's buried on the depth chart, man. It's like if you haven't got any playing time, unless you find, unless you're looking to just go wherever and play, because you just want to play college football, and that that your options are probably going to be limited, then that's fine, man. But I know a lot of these kids got FBS dreams, and if you're a third string quarterback or third string whatever at a smaller school, man, it's tough to get that. And then you see a lot of kids ending up at D2, which is nothing wrong with D2, because there's a lot of great players in D2. There's a lot of great players in D3. There's a lot of NAI, wherever there's talent everywhere. But a lot of people, they look at it, FBS a bust, and then they feel like they have to settle for something else. And, I just don't like seeing guys leave before they even had opportunity to make something happen. So one of the things I did look up was in the 2022 year, this just basically said when are D1 student athletes entering the portal, and these are FCS numbers. This is in 2022 for the 2022 year. August of 2021, 93 kids entered the portal. September, 56. October, 103. 408 in November, 368 in December, 253 in January of 2022, 100 in February, 109 in March, 354 in April, 117 in May, 82 in June, and 42 in July. So that basically shows you there when a lot of these guys make that move. After the season is over with, you didn't play. or your coach got fired, or your coach left, you're homesick, you're buried on the depth chart, whatever. You tend to get out of there on that first wave, which is November and December. In January, a little bit as guys start to see places open up, especially due to the early signing period. You see more things coming open, and teams start to kind of scrounge a little bit more in January to try to rack up somebody to come in before the signing, the national signing day, if they didn't get the guys they wanted in the early period. Then it's a slow wave in February and March, and then April is spring practice. You see a lot of guys leave in the spring, for various reasons. One of the reasons I actually made this video was because yesterday Marcus Riley from Bethune-Cookman, who is probably their best wide receiver, he went into the portal yesterday, and I thought he was going to be one of the top receivers in the conference, and just to go into the portal like a week before spring game and all of this, I feel like either he's not meshing with the new staff, or B, he just somebody's in his ear, and that that's something to take into account. One of the other things to take into account now is the rule that if you transfer a second time, you have to sit out unless you get a waiver, and getting waivers is tough unless you go to the right place. Certain places can find a way to get you that waiver. Some schools work harder at it, and some don't got the traction. But to me, that they're trying to cut out guys just jumping schools, playing going to 4 schools in 4 years. They're trying to make more people be grad transfers, because if you grad transfer, then you don't have to. It doesn't matter if you transfer twice. I do like that they've made windows now, because it kind of at least makes you have to hold your horses a little bit. Now, if you just steadfast and just want to get up out, then you're gonna get up out whenever the window opens up. Sometimes it may give a coach a chance to talk to a kid and get it, get him, maybe they can come to an agreement and get him back on the team, or maybe that ship is sailed. But that's just these were just some random kind of thoughts, man, that I had about the portal, and because this is always a topic of conversation, and kind of to go back all the way back to what I started with. Do I think that the FCS or HBCU realm is a kind of a de facto JUCO for FBS teams? I don't know if JUCO is the right term I want to use, but it's almost like a feeder system now. It's almost like AAA ball. You go down and you play, and then you try to see, can you move up to the next level. But there's still so many kids that don't come out of the portal, and I think that's unfortunate. I wish there was a way to cut down on it, because I think so many people going in there and not coming out, and those are the kids that I'm always concerned about, because it's like you just see a guy go in the portal on a rash decision, and they don't have what other teams are looking for, and you're kind of stuck. So until they find a way to fully regulate this, then it's gonna continue to be all hands on deck when it comes to going wherever you want. I think the new rule helps some, but guys are still gonna try, because that's just the way people operate. So you're still gonna you still feel like, hey, I can that don't apply to me. I can make it happen. So that's just one of the things. One of the last couple numbers I wanted to touch on, and like I said again, this is from the 2022 season. 573 transfers who actually found a destination. They were undergrad transfers, and 347 were grad transfers, and 62% of those transfers did stay in D1. 36% went D2, and 3% went D3. So there's these are guys that found homes, but there's still so many guys that's out there. And like I said, you see it now more, especially right now, this time of the year. You see it, and I think the portal is about to open up again. So you're gonna see that run. And I can't knock the portal because we as SWAC teams, we benefited on the other end of it, and that's why I call it a double-edged sword. Y'all see how I kind of somewhat tried to bring this all back together, man. It's a lot of strings all over the place, like when the Chinese finger traps. But I got so many things, but I'm trying to bring it all home, y'all. I'm trying to land that plane. It's a double-edged sword because we benefit from it, getting guys, especially FBS guys who drop down a level, and so we do benefit a lot from that. So you really don't want to fully knock it because, like I said, you get a lot out of it. It's just it hurts you more because your numbers are not as your numbers are already not as great. That's more. That's just the way it goes. And more than 500 guys last season transferred from FBS to FCS. So you're getting a higher number of guys dropping down for whatever reason. And obviously you're looking at teams are cleaning up, man. You look at a team like Alabama and them, they had quite a few FBS guys that transferred in last season. They had 9 FBS guys, at least as far as this list. Could have been more, but they had 9 on this particular list. And that pretty much shows you that's for this season. So that that shows you you're gonna get those opportunities. I mean, you got a team like Valley got 4 guys coming from FBS. So getting FBS guys is not the lick like it used to be. Like, oh, we got this guy coming down, because everybody's getting FBS guys. It's just, are your guys that you're getting able to play? Are they players, or are they just guys that that were somewhere taking up space? So I always like to temper my expectations with guys coming in unless I actually seen this guy play and know his game, or like maybe it was a guy that was highly recruited, and 1 year he was there and he was ready to go, and he got a year under his belt in the college system. And so I think that it works both ways, using each level, using other level as a feeder, because we definitely benefit from FBS guys coming down, and they get guys going up. Now, I would love to be able to track the success level of guys that moved up from the SWAC to FBS. I don't think it's that high. Now, obviously, this season, that's probably going to be a different number because, like I said, so many guys went to Colorado from Jackson State. So, some of those guys are going to be successful. A guy like Kevin Coleman, he's going to definitely get some time at Louisville. So, there's a few guys on that list, on that Jackson State list, I would expect to see get playing time at the FBS level. So this year is a little bit of an anomaly, man. You really can't really say how this thing is gonna fully work. Like a guy like Tyler Brown and Willis Patrick, they both been getting their names called out, whether at Colorado and TCU. So there's gonna be guys that are successful on the FBS level from FCS, but typically I don't think there's that many. I mean, there's a few, but not a lot. So I think we benefit more from your guys moving from FCS to FCS, especially in conference. You're definitely going to see a level of success that's a little bit higher than moving up. And obviously, guys moving from FBS to FCS, there's going to be a lot more guys that are successful because more of those guys are moving down. I think it's all in, just how you approach it, man. The way some coaches use the portal now, it's impacting high school recruiting. You start to hear kids say, or high school coaches say, that seniors aren't really getting looks anymore, which to me makes the talent level move down more. And that, to me, that makes all of college football that much more talented, because a kid that might have been an FBS guy out of high school is now an FCS guy. The FCS guy is now a D2 guy. The D2 guy is now a D3 guy. So the talent level is increasing because guys are having to find places to go. And the COVID situation also did that. That made a lot of people have to get in where they fit in. And I think on one hand, I think it's really good because it does give people options, and this is America, so why not have options? But on the other side, I think it's hurting because now you can't build a team without somebody trying to poach your guys or your coach. So it's a give and take. But I think as long as we make the best of what it is and what we have, then I think we'll be able to be successful. So we continue to work that portal, but still give high school guys the opportunity. But we continue to work that portal and show that the SWAC is still growing in talent. Then maybe we won't lose as many guys. But you're gonna lose guys because that's just the nature of the beast. So I'm gonna stop it right there, man. So we'll stay on this topic. This is a topic that can come up anytime because the portal, is always a hot button topic. But I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in and rocking with me today. We'll be back tomorrow on SWAC Smoke, live 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. We have a special guest, Tenarius Gooden from the From the Hill podcast, which is an Alabama A&M podcast. Going to stop by, and we're going to talk about A&M spring practice, spring game, outlook for the fall, and everything else. Got a couple more interviews coming your way. Should have one dropping Saturday. Working on a couple for next week. So y'all make sure y'all check us out and keep it locked in with SWAC Talk. And we'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.